In March 1981, the Daily Mirror sponsored a British tour by the official Chinese martial arts team. And so, for the first time ever, the people of Britain were privileged to see Chinese martial arts, or wushu, performed by the greatest masters of these ancient arts alive today.
喺1981年3月，在倫敦每日鏡報贊助之下，中國武術代表團前嚟英國訪問表演。因此，英國人民首次好榮幸咁見到中國最傑出嘅武術運動員嘅精彩表演。
China has over 300 different martial arts forms, many with histories stretching back thousands of years. Historical records show that some wushu exercises were performed as far back as the Shang dynasty, over 2,000 years ago. With the invention of firearms in modern times, the role of wushu in military affairs diminished. But its traditions and disciplines have been kept alive, and the secrets of the techniques passed on from family to family.
中國有300多種不同形式嘅武術，其中有好多歷史悠久。據歷史記載，有啲武術早在2000多年前嘅商朝已經有表演。雖然喺現代武器發明之後，武術喺軍事上嘅用途已經逐漸消失，但係武術嘅傳統同埋精神仍然保存，武術嘅技巧奧妙仍然世代相傳。
Perhaps the most spectacular and fascinating martial arts discipline is the ability to summon up the vital force of qi in order to resist pain. This is often referred to as mind over matter. The technique is called qigong.
武術最主要嘅奧妙係在於運用氣功嚟抗拒身體嘅痛楚，呢一種技術亦叫做硬氣功。
The martial arts masters can harden or soften areas of their bodies to resist pain and produce tremendous strength.
武術教練往往能夠使到身體某部分變硬或者變軟，以抗拒痛楚同埋發揮好大嘅氣力。
Legend has it that a Buddhist monk was dismayed by the way other monks kept falling asleep over their studies and invented physical and breathing exercises for them. These exercises were refined down the centuries and techniques developed to concentrate the vital force. These techniques have been passed on from father to son until the present day.
據傳說，有一名和尚由於見到其他和尚經常喺念經嘅時候瞌眼瞓，因此佢就為佢哋想出咗鍛鍊體力同埋呼吸嘅辦法。經過幾世紀嘅改進同埋發展，結合成氣功。同時呢一種武術父子相傳，一代代咁傳咗落嚟。
You'll now witness some spectacular demonstrations of Yin Qigong. Here, Guanampu has to summon the vital force to his hand.
而家請大家觀賞一下硬氣功嘅表演。一位武術運動員關安普將佢嘅氣功運用喺佢嘅手部。
This solid granite pebble presents no problem.
呢粒硬石頭喺佢講嚟唔算得係乜嘢。
His hand passes clean through the stone.
哇！一手就將粒石頭劈開啦。
Here, the vital force is being summoned to the arm. Deng Peizier began learning the technique from his grandfather when he was just 7 years old.
呢個時候，佢將氣功集合喺手臂上。喺佢7歲嘅時候，佢就開始從佢嘅祖父嗰處學呢一門武術啦。
These high-density house bricks are here used to demonstrate what's known as iron arm kung.
呢啲結實嘅磚頭係用嚟表演鐵掌功嘅。
The towel only prevents cuts from flying splinters.
用嘅毛巾只係為咗避免被碎石割傷。
Imagine what a blow like that would have done to your own arm. But vital force resists the impact.
試想下，假如你用自己嘅手掌嚟打落去，將會點樣呢？但係運用氣功能夠抗拒呢一種衝擊嘅。
This time, the vital force is concentrated into his legs. Even the performers don't really understand how the vital force works. You have to concentrate your will, they say, and then you direct the vital force to the appropriate spot.
呢一次氣功係集中喺佢嘅腿部，甚至於連表演者亦不太了解主要氣功嘅作用。據說你必須集中一切意念，然後你就可以將氣功運用到適當嘅部位。
A concrete curbstone is extremely heavy, and it doesn't break easily. It's placed across the shin bones.
呢塊混凝土塊相當嘅重，唔容易被破裂。而家將佢放喺佢嘅腳上。
Once again, he's totally unhurt.
但係佢仲係毫無受傷。
This amiable giant, Guo Liudong, is concentrating his vital force to his head. During the Cultural Revolution, Ying Qigong was suppressed because of its ancient association with religion and mysticism. But it was kept alive in secret in the families of men like Guo, and it's been officially revived now in China.
呢位高大嘅運動員郭綠登，將佢嘅氣功集中喺佢嘅頭部。喺中國文化革命時期，硬氣功受到批評， 原因係呢一種氣功過去同宗教同埋迷信有關聯，但係而家中國已經正式恢復練習呢啲技術啦。
Once again, a heavy curbstone is used for the demonstration. And this feat is extremely dangerous, and neglecting proper preparation could be fatal.
佢用單手法嚟表演，相當危險。假如忽略咗適當嘅準備，就可能會隨時發生危險嘅。
After 30 years of experience, he can summon the vital force much more quickly than in his youth.
喺過去，佢需要更長嘅時間嚟運用佢嘅氣功，但係而家就唔使。
The force from the blow doesn't damage his head, and yet the heavy slab is split in two.
隨擊嘅力量對佢嘅頭部毫無損傷，但係呢塊重石已經被佢劈成兩塊。
The next feat is also highly dangerous, as are all the Qigong demonstrations, and they should never be attempted by the untrained. The training is highly important, and without supervision, brain damage can result. The ancient books recommend that to train, one should drive one's head against a wall at least 100 times a day, 5 days a week for a year. But it must be stressed that without experienced supervision of a master, serious or even fatal injuries could result.
跟住呢一項表演亦係非常危險，任何冇經過訓練嘅人唔可以隨便嘗試。訓練技術亦係高度危險嘅，可能造成腦部嘅嚴重損傷。據古人傳下嘅秘訣話，鍛鍊嘅時候每日要用頭部撞喺牆壁上至少100次，1星期5日，要學足1年。但係要指出嘅就係，如果冇教練嘅指導，隨時係可能發生嚴重損傷意外嘅。
Guo's head is sandwiched between the slabs.
角綠燈嘅頭部夾喺上下石塊嘅中間。
Amazingly, he's unhurt, although his head has broken the bottom slab.
奇怪嘅就係，雖然佢嘅頭部將底下嘅啲石塊裂開，但係佢毫無損傷。
Resisting a sharp spear is another traditional way of demonstrating vital force. Deng Peizier is concentrating his vital force to his neck.
呢一支銀槍係表演氣功嘅另一種傳統方法。呢位運動員將氣功集中喺佢嘅頸部。
So is his partner, Zhu Zongpu. The spear has 2 sharp ends, and each must know when the other is ready.
佢嘅搭檔朱宗普亦係一樣。呢一支銀槍兩頭都係尖鋭嘅，佢哋兩人都必須知道對方是否已經準備好。
They begin practicing with a blunt rod, and then gradually sharpen it until they are ready to withstand a sharp spear's point. You'll find pushing even a finger into the base of your neck too painful to endure for long.
佢哋開始練習時係用一支唔利嘅嘢，然後逐步嘅削尖，一直到佢哋能夠抵受尖鋭嘅銀槍。冇錯，就算係將一隻手指壓喺頸部，亦難以忍受嘅。
Amazingly, they're able to break the hardwood shaft without the spear points piercing the skin.
奇怪嘅係，佢哋能夠將硬木棍整斷，亦唔會受到槍尖嘅損傷。
Again with spears, Guo demonstrates an even more difficult feat. The force at the spear tip is many tons, and Guo has to concentrate his vital force at 2 spots at once.
角綠燈亦用銀槍嚟表演一項更驚險嘅氣功。喺槍尖嘅力量係好大嘅，角綠燈必須將佢嘅氣功立刻集中喺2個部位。
Guo explains that the next demonstration you're about to witness can sometimes go wrong, and he sometimes gets cut.
角綠燈解釋話，下一個表演有時候可能會失手，佢有時候亦會受傷。
还有他自己啊，在这方面单身用棍的方面啊，有一部分的肌肉没有收拾好，有一部他就要遇到一点挫折，就避免不了划破的戏。这个背的每天都划不破，有时候也要划破。
As if lying on a bed of glass isn't enough, Guo's about to become part of an amazing sandwich with Cao Jisoo and Guan Anpu.
瞓喺一堆玻璃碎片唔算得係乜嘢，但係角綠燈將喺趙繼書同埋關安普2人之下承受重大嘅壓力。
Those paving slabs are very heavy.
呢啲大石塊非常嘅重。
Now on top of Cao, they place 3 more.
喺趙繼書身上再放上3塊。
And on top of Guan, another 2. All in all, Guo is supporting nearly a ton in weight.
喺關安普身上再放上2塊，因此角綠燈要支持嘅全部重量將近1噸重。
Those are really forceful, and Sao enthusiastically breaks the final slabs.
但係喺底下嘅角綠燈能夠承受到將石塊一塊塊嘅被打破。
With this demonstration, the vital force isn't concentrated on one particular spot. It's spread generally throughout the whole body.
呢項表演氣功唔係集中喺一個部位，而係分散喺全身。
And even after all that violent pounding, Guo springs up, uncut by the glass.
結果角綠燈企起身，毫無損傷。
Cao Ji-su demonstrates here just how sharp that broadsword is.
而家趙繼書繼續表演刀術嘅厲害。
Meanwhile, Guo has concentrated his vital force in his stomach.
角綠燈將氣功集中喺佢嘅腹部。
The ancient Chinese masters said that when the vital force is concentrated in the stomach, it becomes as hard as iron. This is sometimes called bag kung, after a famous master whose bag, his stomach, was full of vital force. It needs to be. The broadsword slices through those wooden rods.
古時候中國武術教練話，當氣功集中喺腹部嘅時候，腹部就變成好似鐵一樣咁硬。呢一種功夫亦叫做袋功，原因係一位著名嘅教練，佢嘅袋充滿咗氣功，需要用刀嚟劈開呢啲木條。
Guo's stomach is marked but not cut.
角綠燈嘅腹部略有痕跡，但係毫無損傷。
Cao Ji-su tells us of the time when he was only 17. One day after a training session, he went into the mountains and was attacked by a tiger. He managed to kill it with his bare hands. But the fight lasted half an hour, and he still bears the hideous scars from the tiger's claws. To a man who fights tigers bare-handed, razor-sharp broadswords present no problem. Although the swords have to be positioned firmly. Once a sword slipped, and Cao bears a 3-inch scar to mark the occasion.
趙繼書話喺佢17歲嗰年，有一日佢行入森林，赤手同一隻老虎搏鬥，因此鋒利嘅刀佢絕冇問題。不過呢啲刀嘅位置必須放好，以免受傷。
Now he's concentrating his vital force in his neck, his chest, and his abdomen.
而家佢將氣功集中喺佢嘅頸部、胸部同埋腹部。
A heavy curbstone is placed on his back. If you've ever cut yourself with a carving knife, you'll know how easy it is to break the skin.
將一塊重石放喺佢嘅背部上。假如你曾經被刀仔割傷，你就會了解啦。我哋人體嘅皮膚係幾咁容易被割傷嘅。
The sledgehammer blow forces his body down onto the razor edges of the broadsword.
He 佢將身體壓喺兩把刀嘅刀邊上。
This is a tiger fork, a traditional fighting weapon. It's made of steel and it's very sharp.
呢支係老虎叉，係一種傳統嘅打鬥武器，用鋼製成，非常嘅尖鋭。
Cao is concentrating his vital force into his stomach. He claims that his family have been performing feats like this for over 1,000 years. He began training when he was 9. He was taught by his father, his grandfather, and an uncle.
趙繼書將氣功集中喺腹部。佢話佢嘅家族祖先表演呢一種氣功已經有1000多年嘅歷史啦。佢喺9歲嘅時候開始鍛鍊，佢嘅爸爸、祖父同埋一位叔伯教佢。
He has no padding, as the audience verified. Only typical Chinese modesty made him wear his trousers so high.
觀眾可以見到佢並冇穿着任何護身墊，唯有傳統嘅中國嘅鍛鍊，使到佢可以練成呢一種氣功。
Again, the slightest loss of concentration could cause a fatal injury.
如果略有疏忽，就會造成嚴重嘅損傷嘅。
But remarkably, he's unhurt and unmarked.
結果佢表演之後毫無損傷，毫無痕跡。
Guo Ludong again demonstrates great strength using this steel rod. The rod is of the type used to reinforce concrete.
郭綠燈用呢一條鋼條表演佢嘅氣功，呢一條鋼條就係建築用嘅鋼骨條啦。
Guo can turn it into a crude necklace.
郭綠燈能夠將佢彎成一個頸圈。
And perhaps even more difficult, uncoil it again.
甚至仲可以將佢鬆開添。
As our final demonstration of Yin Qigong, Deng Peizier now concentrates his vital force into his chest.
最後一項硬氣功係由鄧佩芝表演，將佢嘅氣功集中喺佢嘅胸部。
This steel wire is very strong. Tremendous weights can be hung on a single strand. As thin as cheese wire, it would normally slice into an ordinary man's flesh. The wire is bound very tightly.
呢一條鋼條非常堅硬，可以承受好重嘅力量。雖然唔係好粗，但係可以將人肉切斷。佢將鋼條放喺身上，綁得好緊。
That's the fourth pair of wires going on.
而家綁上第4對鋼條。
By concentrating his vital force, Deng can burst the wire.
鄧培之運用氣功將鋼條谷斷。
One of the circles has to be tightened. If it's slack, of course, Deng can't snap it.
其中一圈必須拉緊，如果太鬆嘅話，佢就冇辦法谷斷啦。
We'll now see other aspects of Chinese martial arts. Many of the poses and movements are thousands of years old. Some were developed for fighting, others simply to keep fit.
而家我哋轉睇下中國武術，好多姿勢同埋動作都有幾千年嘅歷史啦。其中有啲係為打鬥，有啲係為咗鍛鍊身體嘅。
Such movements aren't easy to achieve. Behind them lies rigorous training with the emphasis on learning through suffering.
呢啲動作唔容易練習，必須經過嚴格嘅鍛鍊同埋受苦。
It looks graceful, but to achieve such grace, the masters say you must sweat blood, gasp for breath, and struggle against pain.
睇起好似好輕鬆，但係據教練話，鍛鍊過程往往會流血，每日苦練忍受苦痛。
Wang Donglian starts practicing martial arts at 6 o'clock each day. She's won 5 gold medals in all China martial arts competitions, and her favorite events are sword fighting and sparring.
黃東年每日清晨6點鐘就開始練習武術，佢最喜歡嘅項目就係刀術同埋拳術。
Students have first to develop basic movements like these kicks. The foot should come as high as the forehead.
學員首先必須練習基本嘅動作，例如腳踢，腳尖要踢高到碰到額頭。
Children begin training at 10 years old, but it takes several years before they can expect to succeed in competition.
一般學童喺10歲嘅時候開始鍛鍊，不過要經過好幾年先正能夠參加比賽成功。
In ancient times, women were taught to fight and shave their heads to disguise their sex. Many of them became fearsome warriors.
古時候，婦女亦鍛鍊打鬥，佢哋打扮成男裝，好多成為英勇嘅戰士。
Once performers have mastered these kicks and the other basic movements, they can graduate to dazzling combinations of movement, such as those seen in this rolling boxing routine performed by Chao Cheng-jun.
一旦佢哋嘅表演可以掌握呢啲腳踢法同埋其他基本動作之後，佢哋就可以運用自如，表演各種嘅動作，例如呢位趙長軍表演嘅地躺拳。
One of the most visual forms of fighting is animal boxing, where fighters take their inspiration from various creatures, in this case, the praying mantis. The story goes that a famous swordsman, Wang Lang, suffered several humiliating defeats by unarmed monks. One day, whilst licking his wounds, he saw a praying mantis fighting. Wang Lang imitated the insect's movements as a fighting style.
最顯著嘅拳術形式之一就係模仿動物嘅拳術，例如螳螂拳。
This is eagle boxing. The arms imitate the wings. Such fighting styles may have begun as exercises to keep fit.
呢種係鷹爪拳，模仿鷹爪嘅動作，最初係用嚟鍛鍊身體嘅。
Now snake boxing, lithe and spectacular.
呢種係蛇拳，非常靈活，變化多端。
Free spirit boxing, as its title suggests, embraces all the elements of the traditional forms of boxing.
自選拳術利用一切傳統嘅拳術形式主要部分編成嘅。
Demonstration by these wushu athletes is highly stylized, a combination of keep fit and clowning, although the performers' mastery of the techniques makes them formidable opponents.
呢啲包羅萬有嘅綜合武術表演，的確多姿多彩，可以鍛鍊身體，亦可以表演娛樂觀眾。雖然呢啲表演者精通各種嘅武術，幾乎難逢敵手。
This form of fighting, a combination of boxing and wrestling, is called China sparring.
呢一種綜合拳術同埋摔角術嘅武術就叫做對擒拿啦。
The wushu performers are immensely skilled with weapons too. This is a simple stave, but its length and the speed with which it's wielded, and the performer's astonishing agility, make him a formidable opponent even for a swordsman. Even in slow motion, it moves like lightning.
武術表演亦要同武器緊密嘅配合。一支長棍嘅長度同埋表演嘅速度十分嘅重要。表演者技術高超，動作敏捷，幾乎刀槍難敵。就算係慢鏡頭，速度亦相當嘅快。
This performer is using a monkey cudgel. Stealth, cunning, balance, agility and a keen eye are the key ingredients. And Xiong Changgui, the champion of all China, has them all.
呢一項表演係用一支喉棍，表演時靈活、機警同埋眼睛敏鋭係基本嘅因素。呢位運動員洪長貴喺中國表演喉棍全國第一。
The ancient masters had to become proficient with 18 different weapons, though there were many more. And this weapon, unusual to Western eyes, is a 3-section cudgel. 3 staves joined together by hooks and chains.
對西方人嚟講，三節棍相當嘅新奇。據說古時候嘅武術教練必須精通18般武器，甚至於更多。
Performers in this class need to practice their routines for hours every day, often beginning before dawn.
呢一種表演每日需要鍛鍊好幾個小時，甚至於一大清早開始。所謂聞雞起舞就係呢個意思啦。
Here you can see how the three-section cudgel is used for fighting. Developing routines like this can be very dangerous, and injuries are all too common.
三節棍可以用嚟作為打鬥嘅武器，呢一種練習的確相當危險，經常可能發生意外損傷。
The slow motion shows you just how dangerous it is.
慢鏡頭可以顯示出佢嘅危險性。
A 9-section whip. That's 9 pieces of wood linked together. And this weapon is so easily concealed that it was often carried for self-defense. It's so flexible that without the red tassel, the eye couldn't follow its trajectory. When fighting, the Chinese preferred to keep the enemy at a distance, using the stave, spear and whip, rather than the sword or dagger.
呢個係一條9節鞭，用以藏身，主要作為自衛。喺打鬥嘅時候，為咗避免敵人近身，往往係用棍、銀槍同埋鞭作為武器，而唔係用刀或者短劍。
Just as women were taught to wrestle, so they were taught to use weapons in ancient China, like these swords. The ancient masters said swordplay should be performed like the dragon, meaning the performer should be agile and precise in every movement. There were 16 different movements to perfect, and the modern athlete must try to incorporate them all in a routine.
喺古時候，中國婦女亦練劍術。
Grace of movement is one of the vital elements in the exercise, and Li Xiaoping, gold medalist in this event, shows it to perfection.
動作嘅輕鬆亦十分重要。呢位運動員率小平全國冠軍。
Well before 1000 AD, a famous pair of swordswomen, Madame Kung Sui and Sister Li, designed this famous sword dance, a combination of wushu and dancing.
據說喺公元1000年，有一對女劍客想出呢一種劍舞。
Tang Yali has 2 broadswords, and according to the ancient masters, exercises like these should be performed with the fierceness of a tiger.
呢一位女運動員唐亞麗用2把刀嚟表演刀術。古時候武術教練話，表演呢一種武術必須英勇兇猛如虎。
Lo Jing shows off the long-handled scimitar. An exercise like this was first developed in the Xin dynasty over 1500 years ago.
呢一位運動員羅勁表演呢一種大刀術，據說中國早在1500多年前就有啦。
These double-hooked swords require great agility of the body, together with extremely nimble footwork.
呢一種雙勾劍必須體力壯健，同時需要步伐準確。
spear, the favorite weapon of the ancient Chinese. They called it the king of weapons because there were 30 different movements to perfect. Li Xiaoping won the gold medal in the last all-China martial arts competition.
銀槍中國古時號稱武器之王。
Here we see the spear in action against an opponent with 2 daggers. Mixed weapon matches like this date from the Yuan dynasty in the 13th century.
雙比手對槍表演早在13世紀嘅元朝已經有啦。
But many prefer to put their faith in their bare hands. And here, in this spectacularly perilous routine, an unarmed man and a swordsman face up to each other. That sword is razor sharp.
不過，亦有好多人寧願赤手空拳嚟對付敵人。例如呢一位運動員同一位攞刀者對打，呢把刀非常嘅鋒利，十分驚險，十分刺激。
The slow motion again shows the real danger of this routine.
慢鏡頭亦顯示出佢嘅危險性。
The Chinese preferred the spear to the sword, but sometimes the swordsman or woman would have to face several spears, like this.
中國運動員比較喜歡採用銀槍多過用刀，不過有時候要用刀嚟對付幾支銀槍嘅攻擊。
Wang Donglian not only defends herself, but eventually disarms her opponents. Here's another dangerous routine. One girl with a 3-section cudgel against 2 opponents, one armed with a sword, the other with a stave.
呢一項表演係3節棍對一把刀同埋一支長棍，3人對打，十分嘅緊張。
Slow motion shows the combination of timing, speed and agility, and courage that the girls have to develop.
從慢鏡頭就可以見到表演嘅時候嘅速度、時間必須配合準確，毫無差錯。當然，用氣、體魄亦十分嘅重要。
In our final demonstration, the classic confrontation, the speed and subtlety of the spear against the might of the long-handled scimitar. Today's wushu performers are the heirs to a tradition thousands of years old. Techniques were passed on from father to son down the centuries. Today, almost 100 million Chinese actively participate. The martial arts have resumed their special place in the life of China.
中國武術價值好大，今日佢喺中國人民生活中已經佔有一個特殊嘅地位。